Are you educating your children at home, but you feel like you're losing focus, not sure what direction you're headed in, or actually what you even want from homeschooling anymore? Maybe you feel like you're moving in 100 different directions. Who doesn't sometimes? I'd love to hear from you as you're tuning into this Facebook Live or watching the replays. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from, and why this conversation resonates with you. Today we're going to be talking about setting your goals. Setting your course, looking at those long-term goals, where you're headed on this journey. My name is Diana Rolston, and I want to welcome you to Spark Homeschool Parent. Each week, we bring you strategies to ignite the spark that engages your children's learning. This month, we are exploring purpose, the why. Why are you homeschooling? And I want to welcome all of you. I've had an opportunity to connect with some of you, and some of you aren't even homeschooling yet, but you're taking the time to learn more about what this is all about and preparing yourself to just launch strong. So I want to welcome you. And others, I have reconnected with some families that have been homeschooling for a long, long time and now have younger children. So welcome to you too, and everybody else on that homeschool journey. This conversation is for you if you are homeschooling or thinking about homeschooling and you need some focus. You feel like you're moving in 100 different directions and you want to know where you're headed. You know your starting point, but what's the ending point? When is homeschooling a success? You want to know what direction you're headed in. This is Spark Homeschool Parent, and I'm Diana Rolston. And today's conversation is setting your course. Taking a look at those long-term goals. I have 3 boys, and we homeschooled through to their graduation. They're young adults now. I am brought back to one February day. If you are homeschooling in the Northern Hemisphere, you know what February days are like. Those long, dark, cold days. And this one particular day, I was driving around. Our friends of mine, other homeschool moms, we would joke saying that we weren't homeschooling. We were car schooling. I think back at that and I'm actually quite embarrassed to say that. But on this particular day, I was driving to gymnastics and swimming. And throughout the week, we were doing robotics and drama and karate, and there was a geography co-op and hockey, and I was just running around and around, it felt, all week. This one particular day, we came home, we were all tired. I'm in a house of introverts, so I can appreciate that everybody just wanted to be alone. But they all went to their bedrooms, doing their own thing. There were no conversations, no interactions like I was hoping. And that evening, after I got home tired, quickly whipped something up for dinner for my family. One of my boys had a evening activity. I was driving him out to karate. Threw dinner on the table, and we were going to miss dinner with the family once again. And I'm yelling to get ready, get in the car, we got to go. It just happened that the next day we had a dentist appointment, and I was able to get the 4 appointments all together. So we got into the car and we're ready to leave. And one of my boys is a little pokier than others. He wasn't in the car yet. So I ran into the house. We're leaving. And I went back into the car. 10, 9. Have you done this? 8, 7, 1, 0. And I started driving out of the driveway, driving out of the garage, down the driveway, fully prepared to leave without him. got turned onto the street, and he came running after our car. Jumped in the car and went to the dentist appointment. When we got back from that appointment, I'm like, whoa, what is going on? What am I really teaching here in this homeschool environment? I feel like I'm teaching that we rush around, that that's a good thing. You can do anything at the expense of the rest of your family. We don't need to stay together is what I felt like I was teaching them. I was creating anxiety within my homeschool environment. That just doesn't seem right. With anxiety comes stress and yelling, and that is not what I wanted. I was teaching them that busy is good. I was teaching them that if they start something, as we put more and more activities into our schedule and can't actually fit everything in at one point, that it's okay to quit. No, wait. I didn't want to be teaching these things. Of course, there are some good aspects of doing a lot of activities. I felt like I was providing lots of opportunities for my children, which of course I was, but at what expense? Does that sound like you? It's 2021, and I know that we've been cooped in, and home education looks a little bit different now than back when I was doing it, but things are starting to open up. And no doubt you're just so excited to get your children engaged again. So you're starting to pile up those activities, in addition to those online activities that they've been doing for the last year or two. Take a look at your schedule. I posted a quote on our Facebook group from Susan Gale. She says, living without a goal is like driving without a destination. The wheels keep turning, but you never truly arrive. My wheels were literally turning, but where was I going? Other than the physical destinations within my city and getting my children to different activities, where was this leading? I didn't know where I was going. Earl Nightingale says people with goals succeed because they know where they're going. I felt like I was creating an environment of stress and anxiety and anger. And that's not what I wanted. The dictionary says that a goal is an object of a person's ambition or effort. What is the object of your child's effort? Is it to finish that worksheet, to complete that curriculum, or that unit, or whatever it is? Another definition is an aim or desired result. What was my desired result? Definitely wasn't what was coming out of our days. A goal is the destination of a journey. Where was I headed? Where are you headed? I see Virginia Dawson out there, and she feels the same, spinning around and getting nowhere. Everyone needs to know where they're headed. And so as parents of children, as we're homeschooling, the task just seems so mammoth. The task of teaching and leading our children. But we just need to be focused on the right path. And there's a few things we need to assess. When I sat down, after that crazy week in February, I started to ask myself, and I encourage you to ask yourself, what sort of individuals am I raising? What individuals are you raising? What are we raising them for? What is the purpose of education? These are big questions to ask. but they need to be answered for you to find that focus, to find that right path for your homeschool journey. And only you can answer those questions for yourself and for your family. It was around this time that I was introduced to Mary Hood. Some of you may know she homeschooled one of the pioneers in the United States, but is encouraging homeschool families now also with books and videos and podcasts and talks and things. She really, listening to her really encouraged me. And I put a picture into my mind, and I encourage you to do the same. Picture dropping each one of your children at their first apartment. They're dropping them off at college, into their dorm. What type of person are you dropping off? Mary Hood says there are 3 long-term goals, 3 things that we should look at when we're thinking about our long-term goals for our homeschool journey. Values, skills, and knowledge. Just to give you some thoughts about values, again, it's not something that I'm going to tell you what your family values are or the values you want to instill in each of your children. In our family, knowledge of the Bible is important, and that may be an important one in your house also. Respect for authority, very important in our family. And especially, I have the advantage of having my children out in the work world now and seeing the importance of that, and manners and honesty. And you can add many, many things to that list. Yes, Virginia, great conversation to have with the entire family. That's actually an activity that we're doing now that we didn't have the opportunity to do before. What are the values? Creating the values of your family. The second thing is skills. I came across this book, Life Skills for Children, Life Skills for Kids, and there are a lot of skills that we want to teach our children before they leave this homeschool environment. Skills in the home. I want my children to know how to feed themselves healthy meals, to do their laundry, time organization, time skills. It was very, very apparent to me that I was not teaching my children, especially that pokey boy, to respect time and organize time. Space organization. When our things are in order, we can think more straight. It's like our thinking is in order. We want to teach our children some skills around the house. I definitely want to teach my children how to change a tire. If they get stranded on a street with a punctured tire, I don't want them to have to rely on other people. And many other home management things when they move into their apartment or wherever they should go, and money management. And that's why in the Ottawa area we have personal finance classes for our homeschooled children. The third thing is knowledge. We can't tell or teach our children everything they need to know before they leave our home, but what we can teach them is where and how to find information. I don't know a lot of French. My husband doesn't either. We learned French many, many years ago in school, and we haven't had to use French in our community or in our jobs. But I did teach my children a little bit of French. Not enough for them to have a conversation, but I did teach them to know where and how to find information. My oldest son found himself in a community of French-speaking friends who would sit around the campfire after a day on the river, and he was lost. He was very motivated to learn French, and he was able to do that on his own so that he could at least understand and contribute a little bit to the conversations. It's important for us to write these long-term goals, the values, the skills, the knowledge, write them down, because February is coming again, and those long, dark, very busy days are ahead of us. And if you can look at your list of goals, why you're doing this, and see that your children are getting closer and closer to acquiring the values, the skills, the knowledge, then it's just a confirmation. It's a reminder of why we're doing this and where we're headed. I want you to remember that homeschooling success isn't measured in the number of workbook pages completed. It's measured by the new level of development and understanding that a student reaches as they get closer and closer to those goals. This helped just put perspective to my days. And yes, we cut a few things out of our days so that we could have calm, focused days, intentional days. And I hope that for you also. Has this been helpful for you? I hope it has been. And I really want to hear from you. Thanks, Virginia, for tuning in, and for the others watching. And I'd love it if you could share your comments, share your experiences with setting these long-term goals, help each other, just spur each other on, encourage each other on this journey so that we don't have to do it alone. This is Spark Homeschool Parent. Our commitment is to equip you with the skills and the mindset to navigate through this ever-changing homeschool journey. If you're looking for a community of encouragement, join us if you haven't already in the Spark Homeschool Parent Facebook group. Share it with your friends. Talk about it. We'd love if you could join us there. And I'm really excited. I have my very first free webinar, and I'd love it if you would join me. There are 3 possible dates: next Friday, November 19th, Monday, Saturday. I'll post all of those, and if you're in our group, you'll hear all about that opportunity. I'm going to be talking about how to educate joyful children with a spark for learning, and sharing some of my experiences and the insights that I've gained over the years of homeschooling my children. And I'd love it if you would join again next week. I hope to have a guest who's going to be sharing some of her experiences on setting goals for her children and living those out, and sharing some of her experiences with that. So that, again, is Friday, 1 p.m., right here on Facebook Live. Until next week, remember, as a homeschool parent, you can ignite the spark that engages your child's learning.